There are three key things that you need to know if you want to build a profitable Instagram brand in 2025. And knowing all of these things will help you build a unique brand, separate yourself from the masses, from people who are just trying to create content, and ultimately make an impact and get paid for just being yourself. And how do I know this works? Well, I've used everything that I'm about to share with you in this video to take my Instagram from 0 to over 140,000 followers in just a couple of months. And I started completely from scratch. I used no paid ads. I had no weird hacks, just strategies. And I've understood some key principles that I'm obviously gonna give you in this video. And by the end, you will know how to find your ideal niche, your ideal content strategy, how to actually share your story, share your journey with people so that you can be unique and ultimately get paid for being yourself. So let's dive in. This right here is the 3 phases blueprint that I would use myself to build a profitable Instagram brand in 2025 from scratch. We're gonna go through all of the different phases and I'm gonna explain everything to you so that you can have all that you need to actually build your Instagram in 2025. So let's start here at phase 1. This is gonna be your niche and mission. So before we dive into any kind of strategy, you need to know what your mission is with building a brand, with building your personal brand on Instagram. And I always tell people this. Start with the most basic things. So ask yourself, what achievements or experiences do you have? What do people ask for your help with? What makes your soul truly smile? What stories have changed you so far? Try to dig deep and discover yourself, discover who you are. In my own journey, I was so dynamic, I was so creative. Ever since I was a kid, I was making magazines, I got into music, I did freelancing, I started my own creative agency, my own SaaS platform, I did e-com as well. So I literally I made a list of all of the experiences that changed me, everything that I learned, and I realized my true gift is just talking to people and using what I've been through, using the struggles to just literally help people that are on the same path as entrepreneurs, help them build something. And then diving deeper, ask yourself what desire or fear truly drives me. When it comes to building a powerful brand, you gotta have the biggest desire that drives you and also the biggest fear. My biggest desire is freedom. Having the freedom to travel, to create, to just live life on my own terms. And my biggest fear is living an average life, not being able to build the brands I want to build, not being able to use my skills, not reaching my full potential. So the desire and fear, these two things combined, they are driving my brand and they're basically helping me build my mission statement, my entire thesis for my brand. So you gotta ask yourself, what really drives me in terms of the desires, in terms of fears. Again, make a list with all of this before you dive into anything else. Before going forward, I just want to touch on this. The things you go through in life, your experiences, they provide you with usually some type of pain and some lessons. Now, the entire thesis for creating content that really resonates with people is that because we're all human, right? We all go through stuff. You're gonna take all of that pain, turn it into lessons, and those lessons are essentially gonna be content ideas. You don't need to use different hacks. You don't need to go with top 5 things to post. Just talk about the things that you've been through. Now, obviously, I'm gonna show you how you can actually package that in a professional way so that it really resonates with the right audience. But this is the whole premise for it. I see a lot of people, they overcomplicate things and they're trying to come up with weird ideas instead of being themselves. Because I know one big fear is that, if I'm myself, I'm not enough. People are not gonna listen to me. And I had that for so long, for so many years. I should have started my personal brand. I could have started it 4 or 5 years ago. But I was just way too afraid and way too stuck in my own mind, thinking that I'm just not good enough, thinking that no one will ever listen to me. But you gotta understand that that's just a false thing that you're telling yourself. It's not real, it's just in your head. Whatever you've been through so far, that's good enough for you to at least start and actually talk about it. Document your journey and share whatever lessons you have with people. And you're gonna see you don't need 50 million people to start making money. You don't need that. The sooner you can start, the better. Because the longer you wait, the more you're gonna overthink it, and the more you're gonna be conflicted with all of these different things you see online. So just take your lessons, take the pain, and convert that. Basically, use that for your content ideas. So start with these questions, the desires, fears, and realize that your pain and lessons, they can be transitioned into the content. Next, I want to give you an exercise that really helped me define my personal brand and also come up with basically like infinite content ideas. So I call this the 5-year reflection exercise. So what you want to do is look back on the last 5 years and think about the systems, templates, and advice you wish you'd had during that time. And today, you're the expert who can offer the guidance you needed to accelerate your growth. And imagine giving yourself, your younger self, the clarity, the sense of belonging, and tools for growth through the content you're now able to create. And once you do this exercise, you're gonna wanna write down what have you learned, what problems have you solved, what stories have truly changed you, the pain and struggle that you went through. What did you do to overcome those obstacles? What resources like books, tools, or systems have helped you? And what mentors have you learned from? And once you write this down and on a big piece of paper, you're gonna have a strong foundation to start from, so you don't have to scratch your head thinking, oh, I don't have ideas to start with. And in terms of actually finding out your why, because I know some of you might sit here and say, okay, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that, I have these hobbies, these interests, but I don't really know what to create. I don't really know what to even talk about it, so I'm just overthinking. So the Ikigai concept, which is this Japanese concept meaning a reason for being, will really help you with that. So in this graphic, as you can see, you can write down the things that you love on the top in here, the things that you think the world needs right now, the things that you can be paid for, and the things that you are good at. And at the intersection in the middle of all of these, this is your Ikigai. So this is an amazing exercise if you have a lot of interests, a lot of passions, and you just feel lost right now. You don't really know what to create, what to talk about. Do the Ikigai exercise and it will help you so much, because ultimately what you really need to start all of this is just your phone and some clarity. So this is what the phase 1 is all about, getting you that clarity. So once you have all of that, you're gonna wanna work on your transformation statement. So this is basically your mission, your entire value proposition, your entire thesis. And the most important questions are who, why, and how. Who do I want to help? Why do I want to help them? And how am I going to help them? And your transformation statement or mission statement needs to be super clear, and it needs to just highlight your entire reason for doing all of this. And so later down the line, when you're creating more and more content, you can always go back to this if you're feeling kind of lost. So just to dive into my own mission statement, the gifts I've been given need to be used for good. My desire for freedom, my creativity, my pain, my scars, that flame within me that wants to create. That's what I'm gonna use to build a powerful brand that can help others find their voice, unlock their full potential, and find their freedom. So this defines my entire brand. Whenever I'm lost, I can go back to this, my transformation statement, and I can remind myself of the reason I started in the first place. Because when you're creating content, you might get all of these different crazy ideas, and every idea is good, you can try it. But if you really want to build that unique brand that stands for something, you have to have this down. So once you go through this entire phase with all of the exercises, all of the questions, the 5-year reflection exercise, the Ikigai, build your transformation statement, because in the second phase, we're gonna start the actual Instagram profile, optimize it with the value proposition, and obviously get into the content itself. So let's dive into phase two, which is the content strategy. Now, before anything, just a couple of basic things with Instagram that I've learned this year and that obviously are gonna go on in 2025. With Instagram, you actually gotta give people something they will use in their life. No matter what niche you're in, you have to think people are selfish. So the only reason we're watching content, whether that's some funny content or some educational content, is that it does something for us, right? It gives us something to use. So keep that in mind whenever you're creating. Whenever you're filming a reel, ask yourself, is this something that people can actually share? Next, you're gonna wanna write your own captions with Instagram. Storytelling is king in 2025. We're gonna dive into all of that a bit later, but writing your own captions will help you separate yourself from the masses who are just using ChatGPT right now. I see a lot of creators using it and people can tell. And most importantly, you need to develop your writing style, your unique style. Because with Instagram, it's all about building connections. So people will connect with you if you are yourself. Then you're gonna wanna use call to actions for freebies. Gonna get into that a bit later. You're gonna wanna post something every day, be there every day, post engaging stories, and reply to the comments. So this is just like some basic stuff before we dive deeper. Now, in terms of optimizing your profile, your bio will have these 3 key lines, and I'm gonna walk you through all of them. Line 1 is basically your value proposition. So if I zoom in here, you can see for me it says helping entrepreneurs grow profitable personal brands. This should be a simple line, don't overcomplicate it because the attention span nowadays is so short. So when people end up on your profile, they have to instantly, like 2 or 3 seconds, instantly know and understand what you can do for them. The second line should be the methods you're providing that service or that help to people, or some achievements of yours, or a call to action. In my case, I'm using a call to action saying, DM me grow to start. And whenever people DM me that keyword, I get into a conversation with them and I basically find out what their goal is with Instagram or with their personal brand, and we go from there. And eventually I can get them on a call so I can see if I can actually help them with my program. For the third line, you can use the call to action. So in my case, it's something super specific like get my proven systems. So when people click on this, it's basically my newsletter right now, my lead magnet. When people click on it, they understand that they will get my systems for growth. So this is kind of like the basic in terms of optimization. Obviously, you know, I've said it by now, but like with the profile pic, make sure it's super clean, super clear, like nothing weird going on. People need to see your face, especially if you're building a personal brand, and just have your name. You can put like some keywords in the name, for example, personal brand or Instagram growth or like fitness trainer, whatever it is. You can put those in your name in here. For me, I just prefer to have it slightly cleaner. I don't really like those like long names with a bunch of keywords. I just keep it like that. But if you're starting out, totally recommend it. Next, what you want to do is actually define your content pillars. So in my case, I focus on 4 content pillars mainly. 1, turning your life journey into a personal brand. 2, leveraging attention and content for profit. 3, gaining financial and location freedom. And 4, automating your business to focus on creativity. And these 4 define my entire brand. So for you, these are kind of like, the pillars are kind of like buckets of like content ideas. And you're gonna have like 3 or 4 main buckets, and whenever you're creating content, you're gonna go to one of these buckets and like pick an idea from there. These are really gonna help with creating content because you're never gonna run out of ideas if you really do this. Like when I started, I was so stuck in my mind thinking, how am I gonna like constantly come up with content ideas with like new stuff? How am I gonna actually be able to build my brands, especially from scratch? And I didn't really do this like at first. It took me a bit to figure all of this out, which is why I'm giving it to you in this video. So have these down and they will really help. Now, the biggest content hack that I could give you for 2025 is storytelling. Storytelling is more valuable than any other like weird viral trending hack, any challenge, any content format. Like the more you actually share your story and almost like treat your entire brand as this hero arc, we're gonna get into it, like the more people will connect. And with Instagram, a lot of people say, oh, people on Instagram, they rarely spend time to read. They do, especially if you're doing the right things with storytelling. So this is why I want to dive into this, because this is so much more valuable than any like viral hook strategy or anything that, you know, I could give you like 500 ideas in here for like hooks, but storytelling and explaining this framework and this entire model will help you just completely separate yourself from the rest, because in 2025 there will be creators who will leverage AI and all of this to get views, but then there will be some people, some creators that will be really unique and that everyone will copy. So you're going to be one of them if you really are going to use this storytelling framework. So I call it the hero's arc chart. So pretend you're this little guy in here, like you're the hero. At the top, you have your normal world, and then you're going to cross into the unknown. So the hero typically starts with like a call to an adventure, right? This could be a business you tried or that college you went to, like anything. Then along the way, you are meeting like a mentor or some mentors, and then you're crossing into the unknown. You know, like you're going through trials and tribulations, you're failing, but then you're gaining new skills and you're growing. And at one point, you're gonna hit rock bottom, and the hero will sort of like die, and it will be reborn. And then the hero is gonna go through the revelation. The hero is gonna finally change, and then is gonna get some new gifts. And then finally, at the end of the cycle, the hero is going to return completely changed. And the cycle ends, and then a new adventure begins. The point I'm trying to make with this is that the hero, which is you, right? The hero in the mirror, the entire story of the hero, like you can take that and you can put that into content formats, into stories, into reels, and treat your life up until now, whatever it is, treat your life as this adventure. Like you went on this adventure. In my case, it was with like the businesses I started in 2023. I started a creative agency, an e-com store, a SaaS business. I got into debt. I made so many mistakes. I was like completely burnt out, depressed, stressed out of my mind. I had health issues, but like in the middle of this like beautiful chaos, I learned a lot. And so I took this journey of the hero and I basically extracted the lessons from there, all of the new skills that I got, the growth, the change, and I put that into the content. So keep the hero's arc chart in mind, because again, this is a framework that is going to make you unique. At the end of the day, you don't want your personal brand to be just like everyone else's. You want to stand out, because by standing out, you're actually going to get paid way more than the masses, way more than people who are just trying to get some views. So super important. And like I said, trust is bigger than views, is more important than views, because views will help you get the attention, but building the trust with your audience will actually get you paid. So right now, let's go into how you can actually write your scripts for your content using this hero arc. So the basic framework is this. So you're gonna use the adventure hook. This is basically to draw people in, the first thing you say in the video, in the script. And then you dive into the trials, the failures, the new skills that you've learned, and then into the revelation, and then last but not least, the new gifts, or something for the audience, something that you give to them that they can use. Now let's dive into one of my own scripts and I can walk you through this entire framework. So we started with the adventure hook, the blue one, right? I realized this one thing recently and it completely changed my perspective on life. Last week, I was working with some creators in my coaching program, helping them grow their brands. So this is the adventure, this is the context. Like I said, storytelling will defeat any kind of like viral hook, viral hack, because it will give people almost like a peeking window into your life, and it will create that curiosity for people. And when you start the hook with something like, I did this and I realized this, so here's the context, like you draw people in even more than just something like use these like 5 hacks to grow, whatever. Because yes, you might get a lot of views with that, but with this, you're gonna build that connection. So after that, we go into the trials. And I said, honestly, it's been a lot lately. Constant meetings, filming, and the pressure to always perform that I put on myself. So that's the trials. But in the middle of this beautiful chaos, I had this moment of clarity. So many people live a life that they constantly want to escape from, but I get to wake up every day doing exactly what I love, literally talking to people about the things I'm passionate about and making an impact. So this is basically the revelation. This is me saying that, look, I had this moment of clarity and I realized that I'm blessed, that I get to use my content to help others and to work with others from all around the world and helping them grow their brands, which is awesome. So that's the revelation. And then I went on to the gifts. I think I'm more blessed than I could have hoped for, and I'm starting to approach life with more gratitude than ever because I realize most people don't live like this. I've had some really dark times in my life, and now this almost feels like a dream. And the best thing about it is it makes me want to give even more and help more people. And now I understand gratitude is the foundation of a fulfilling life. So that's basically the scripts in a nutshell, with the framework from here, with the hero arc. So it's the adventure, the trials, the failures, the revelation, and the new gifts. Now you can apply this framework to any niche, from computer programming to real estate to music, anything. Because the principles are the same. You introduce people with the adventure hook, you go into the trials, the revelation, and the new gifts. So at the end of the day, what you're doing is not just asking people to follow you, it's not just shouting at them, use this hack, use this hack. You're providing context, you're sharing your unique story, the unique trials that you went through, the gifts, the things that you found out, and you actually give people something that they can use as well, which is super important because, like I said at the beginning of phase 2, this is what people care about when it comes to content. And so with hooks, don't just say, top 5 tips to improve your mindset. Say 2024 has been the hardest year of my life, but it taught me 5 lessons that changed my life. Don't say, here's a hack to stop overthinking. You could say, I almost lost everything because of overthinking. Here's what I did to overcome it. So the storytelling, building that reciprocity, showing people that, just essentially like being vulnerable and opening up is so much better than shouting out, here's how to do this or something like that. Now, obviously, you can leverage those for views, but these are going to be amazing for building that personal connection with people. Because at the end of the day, it's way better to have 1,000 like super loyal fans that will actually give you money for your products than to have 1 million people who just don't give a crap about like what you want to say. So this is totally a framework that I would have really used when I started. Don't make the mistake of trying to copy others. Try to be original. Yes, doing the research, obviously searching for what people are doing in your niche on Instagram, what works, what audios people are using, what formats. Sure, that's part of the gig, that's part of the phase, understanding what really works, but then taking that and applying this framework to actually connect with people and bring out that uniqueness that you have. And talking about uniqueness, you're gonna wanna create your signature style. So in my case, if you see, this is like a screenshot of my feeds, you can see like a common theme, like this, the colors, the fonts, like the red thing. And the funny thing is I've been seeing people actually copy this style on Instagram. I'm not gonna drop any names, obviously, but it's funny because like when people start to emulate your style, that means you're doing something right. So again, this for you could be just selecting, your favorite colors, like your favorite fonts, thinking about like the way you can film, and it can be like super simple. Like for me, it's just literally me at the desk with like the lighting in the back, but I've created this kind of like my signature style. So the point I'm trying to make is having your unique style contributes to actually you being separated from the masses and you creating that unique brand that people will return to every single day for new content. So keep that in mind. Spend time on Pinterest, make a mood board. Try to think of what are the elements of like my unique brand? Is it that like font? Is it that color, that background? How do I want my brand to look? And essentially, you need to create the content that you yourself would want to watch. This is super important. Like think about that's essentially what I'm doing. And even now with this video, in my mind, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this something that I would want to watch? And this is what I'm trying to create for you right now. So if you do that, if you create your signature style, you will be yourself, you will be unique, and you won't be in that like bucket with all of the creators who just look the same, who talk about the same stuff. And again, no matter the niche you're in, even if you're a lawyer, create that signature style because then people will come back to you for your style, for the way you're delivering the information, for the way things are looking. So super important. And when you're creating content, you got to keep in mind there are these 5 levels of awareness. This is by Eugene Schwartz. And basically, when people come across your Instagram, they can be at any one of these levels. So they can be unaware, they can be problem aware, they can be solution aware, product aware, and then finally most aware, which is the best level to be at, obviously. But the majority of people when you're starting are going to be at the unaware level. So that means they're not really going to know the context. They're not really going to know like what you have to offer to them. So when you're creating content, keep these levels in mind. So you got to make content for the people that are completely unaware, for the people that are aware of their problem in that niche, in your niche, the people that are aware of the solution, the people that are aware of your product, and then the people who are just most aware about everything. The last thing I want to talk about in phase 2 are the story sequences and the highlights. These are going to be amazing because you can share more of your story through the highlights. You can guide people like I'm doing here, like start here, my story, testimonials, newsletter, YouTube. You can promote your offer, your lead magnets, your products, like whatever it is. The highlights are super important. And the story sequences, I'm going to show you an example here, are amazing because you essentially can take a story, take like a phase of your life or whatever, and turn that into a series of stories and walk people through that phase and essentially warm them up so that you can at the end either like make a call to action or ask your audience something or just provide value. And in the beginning, I didn't use the story sequences as much. Now they're amazing and I'm making use of them. So I totally recommend them. And I'm going to give you an example of one of my own here. So when people click on the start here highlights, they open up this story sequence that I posted. And the first slide, it says, this is how I turned myself into a brand that makes money in less than 6 months. A couple of months ago, I had 200 followers. Now I have an audience over 42,000 on Instagram. Built an email list, and I'm just essentially walking people through my journey. Now this, and at the end, I basically have a call to action in which I say that, people can book a free call with me and I can help them basically build a custom strategy for their brand. Now, this is an example with a lot of text. You can use as much as you want or as little as you want. I would recommend right now, the way I'm doing it is like keep it to 2 or 3 sentences max. This can be like too much for people, but then again, this is all up to you. If your writing is really good and most importantly, if you really want to share a lot, definitely go with as much as you want. The idea here is to leverage these to further provide context to the people, especially the new people that just land on your account, because a lot of people, they're not using highlights to just, you know, get more attention and to essentially walk people through these different stages, different phases. And the highlights in and of itself, like, that's a funnel that you can make use of. So super important. So that's it for the phase two. I would say the highlight in here is to leverage the storytelling, share as much as you can, define your content pillars, be transparent with people. Obviously, study whatever's working on Instagram in your niche, like study those formats, apply those formats, but get that uniqueness out there. Develop your own writing style, write the scripts using the hero arc. Don't just use like generic hooks, create your signature style. Be aware of the 5 levels of awareness. And last but not least, make use of the story sequences because they're so important. And the last thing now is phase 3, launching your offer. So this is essentially the point in which you are going to be able to launch your product, whether that's a course, a program, a community, and make money with it. And I'm gonna explain my organic cash flow system that I've used to generate thousands and thousands of dollars completely passively from my Instagram. And essentially now what I have is this ecosystem that brings people in, it qualifies the leads, and I get to book them on calls and I get to sell from there. So this is the organic cash flow system. It all starts with you creating organic content. Now, obviously you can pick Instagram from here, or YouTube, or do both, or do X, TikTok, LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. Pick your platform. This can apply to any platform, and just provide organic content. Study your competition, understand their pain points, and test out different content formats. And as you can see here on the right, the audience at this point is going to be cold, right? So this is just the cold audience that just finds your content out there. And basically, you're going to want to post valuable content for your niche. And then the lead magnet is basically a freebie, something for free to help you connect with the audience even more, build that trust, nurture them more, and essentially deplatform them. So what I'm doing is I'm building a newsletter. I highly recommend the newsletter. A lot of you might think newsletter, that sounds like 2005. Well, it's still super valuable. So from the organic content, you funnel people in through the lead magnet, and you nurture them even more, in this case with emails, and then you can essentially present your offer as well in there. Once you do that, you just sell your powerful offer. So you book calls with people, you sell digital products. This could be a course, a community. You just sell that. And then basically once you onboard people, you turn them into customers, happy customers. You help them get the results, help them just reach their goals. And you essentially get the testimonials and referrals from there. And then that is basically the upsell mechanism, because it goes all the way back here. You post testimonials and case studies, you present in-depth life-changing results in your newsletter. For the offer, you make your offer like even stronger to promote that, and then you just encourage your loyal clients to keep going. So this is the entire mechanism, and the whole point of this is to go from cold to warm to hot and to loyal, because a lot of people, they're just stuck into that like cold, warm segment. But the idea is at every step of the way, provide insane amount of value for people. Like, try to think, with this reel that I'm posting, with this email that I'm sending, how can I make it not 5 stars? How can I make it like 10 stars? How can I make the most amazing piece of content that is gonna take that person from like being cold to warm to hot, and then obviously loyal in the end. And with Instagram, you're going to want to promote your lead magnet through CTAs, call to actions in the captions. This is an example of one of my reels with the caption in here. Again, write your own captions, do the storytelling, provide value to people. And at the end, as you can see here, it says come and grow to get my weekly proven systems. So basically, with every single reel that you post, you could use the CTA. I wouldn't suggest to do that with like every single little thing you post, because then that becomes a little bit spammy, but try to balance it out and make use of this, because the great thing with Instagram is that you can use ManyChat for essentially automating your DMs. So what I have with ManyChat is basically an automation that whenever people comment something, for example, grow like this, it sends them this message with like, just click the button if you want access to my newsletter, where I'll send you weekly strategies. People click that, and as you can see, this message got sent 14,000 times. ManyChat is amazing, and I'm gonna talk about it more in the future, but for now, you can sign up, it's free, you can test it out, and this will essentially help you automate that entire process so that you can send people your lead magnet 24/7. And in my case, I'm building my newsletter. Like I said, I really highly recommend it. It's a simple page with like a simple tagline here, presenting people what they will get once they try it out, with some examples from my emails as well, and just a simple like field in which they could just type in their email and then click on try it out. And then once people get into the newsletter, try to again provide a lot of values with the emails, give away a lot of the systems that you're using, a lot of the things that you've learned, and this goes all the way back to the 5-year reflection exercise, all of it, right? So try to walk people through your life story essentially, and most importantly, provide lessons that they can implement in their life. And then with a newsletter like this, what you can do is build a 5-day email sequence that goes something like this. Like the first email is like intro plus gift. So you introduce people, you give them some context, not a lot, you just introduce them and you give them something. You give them a reward for signing up to your newsletter. The second email is basically about your story. In the second email, you're gonna wanna go in depth, super personal, and just share whatever you've been through so far, what got you here, and your entire reason for doing this in the first place. The third email and the fourth email are all about like providing value, like just a lot of value, give people some lessons. You can film a YouTube video and provide that in the email, talk about different techniques that you're using in your niche, something like super valuable that again, people can actually use. And last but not least, with the fifth and final email of the email sequence, you can essentially pitch people something. You can use a CTA, and you can ask people to, for example, book a call with you or join your upcoming workshop. Whatever it is, you can pitch them. But most importantly, start with the gift, start with the context, your story, provide a lot of value, and then pitch. Don't rush into pitching. The types of offers that you can sell, because I know like when I started, I was so, first of all, I was in a way, I think, afraid of charging money, because deep down, I think I had that fear of like, am I really worth it? Like, you know, I'm just talking, making videos, like, is this worth money? So if you have that like fear, here's like a couple of types of offers you can sell for that clarity. So it's like low ticket digital product, community subscription, service or program, consulting service, high ticket mastermind. So you essentially need to engage with your audience and you need to ask people and find out what they're struggling with. So if you build a free course, pay attention to the questions people ask. This is a hack. So you can build an amazing free course, give it away for free, and just ask in return, ask people for some feedback, ask people to tell you about what they're struggling with, and just pay attention, because those things are key things that you can take and then package that into your paid offer. You can use polls and Q&As on Instagram stories to again engage with people, ask them what they're struggling with, and most importantly, pay attention to the comments. Not only from your accounts, but comments from others as well. Look at the industry leaders and try to figure out like what is the common theme in the comments for these guys. Go in the comment section and you're gonna see some questions are gonna keep popping up. Write those down and leverage that information for building your actual offer. And the 4 principles of a powerful offer are these. 1, it needs to be quick and easy to implement. 2, it needs to truly make a difference and produce a desirable result for your clients. The 3rd principle is clients get the results fast. And the 4th one is clients have complete confidence in your solution. So whenever you're gonna build your powerful offer, try to keep these 4 principles in mind, because If you make an offer that is, slow to implement, that is just complicated, like people are not going to buy. If it doesn't make a difference, if it doesn't produce like a big result for people, they're not going to buy. If it cannot really get the results fast for people, again, your potential clients are going to wonder, why should I invest in this? And last but not least, you have to get people to have complete confidence in your solution. And this ties into building the freebies, building the lead magnet, and nurturing people constantly with as much value as you can. And ultimately, your offer should be the antidote to your audience's pain. So whatever their pain is, let's say you're in the fitness industry, you're in the fitness niche, and people want to lose weight, right? Your offer should be the antidote to that. The best program to help them lose whatever, give a specific number in, 6 weeks or whatever. Like, it should be the antidote to their exact pain. Because people buy things and we do things for two reasons alone. One, the desire for pleasure, and two, the avoidance of pain. So the only reason people are gonna buy something from you is if you help them avoid some type of pain. And once you have your offer, once you have everything, you can package all of that. And if, for example, you're launching a program, you can get people on calls, get them to book a call with you, listen to their story, try to understand again their pain, present your offer, and close the sales, close the deals, and sign people. It really depends on what exactly you want to create for your own niche. But again, what works for a creator might not work for you. So these are kind of like the types of offers, the principles of a powerful offer. Hopefully this all makes sense. But at the end of the day, with this third phase, it's about nurturing people and taking people from the cold states to the warm, hot, and loyal. If you do this successfully, you can build an entire ecosystem that essentially gets you paid 24/7 for being yourself.